All right, this is at the 11th Massachusetts Monument here, and you've got behind me is the Humphreys Monument. As you can see his shadow there. I just wanted to look here from this point of the Third Corps line along Emmitsburg Road, where you can see there in the distance, that is the rocky slope of Little Round Top, with the Trossel barn there in the foreground and Big Round Top looming behind it. I just want to point out the sort of deceptive nature of the terrain. It looks like the rocky slope of Little Round Top there is much closer than it actually is when you consider that between here and there, so essentially on the other side of the Trossel barn, the far side of the Trossel barn, that's the Stony Hill, Roses Woods, the wheat field, is all in between here. It's all like right in here, you know. Just on the other side of those trees is a lot of stuff, but it seems like the Little Round Top is just right here, like right there. If you just step on the other side of those trees, you'll be climbing the other side of these trees right here. Oh, you'll be immediately climbing up the slopes of Little Round Top. But it's not the case. There's hundreds of yards of massive stuff happening between here and there. You've got the entire wheat field between here and there. You've got the Valley of Death before you actually get to the slopes of Little Round Top. So the way the terrain looks at certain points can be very deceiving, where you think, yeah, it's not that far, it's just right there. But there's something like the wheat field, which is this huge field, and then Houck's Ridge behind it before you get to the Valley of Death, and then to Little Round Top. And massive fighting and casualties are happening in those spaces between here and there. And it's just fascinating to me, the way that how terrain actually appears when you're standing on it, and the ability of these soldiers at this time, particularly the commanders, to be able to read that terrain and understand immediately, like, oh, okay, we need to put, defenses here, needs to be anchored here or there, and so forth, is just, it's fascinating to me. So just this idea that while it looks like Round Top, you can see individual details on the actual slope of Little Round Top there. Like, you could just, right on the other side of those trees, you could just run right to that tree, those little tree line there, and right on the other side of it start climbing Little Round Top. No, you actually would have quite a hike to go before you actually get to Little Round Top, but it just seems like it's right there. And so the ability of these guys to understand these undulations of terrain and these almost like, how can you tell that the heights are perfect size there, and so forth. It's just impressive to me that these guys could do that.